A change in SNAP benefits could soon become official for Alabamians. Both the House and the Senate have passed legislation which would prohibit residents from using food assistance benefits to buy candy and soda. Supporters say it could improve public health. Others worry the change could denounce SNAP benefiters. Just before the final day of Alabama's 2026 legislative session coming to a close, a change being approved impacting people using SNAP benefits. Senate Bill 57 prohibits purchasing soda and candy with SNAP benefits. Changes before passage included energy drinks to the list, specifically those with more than 65 milligrams of caffeine per 8 ounces.
I think it's something that we certainly are interested in because any change to SNAP has an impact overall.
Food Bank of North Alabama's CEO Shirley Schofield says they work with SNAP benefiters, providing assistance when needed.
Often people who have SNAP benefits, it doesn't always provide everything that they need for the month. So often if you do receive SNAP benefits, there's still going to be a few weeks where you might need assistance from the food bank or from one of our food pantries.
When looking at SB 57, she adds it could bring a hit to people's dignity.
While we think it's very important to have nutritious food and to have a concentration on nutritious food in your diet, and that's something that we have really tried to focus on at the food bank, is making sure that people have access to nutritious food, make sure that they have that available to them. But where we get more concerned is when it's a requirement, or when it's, almost becomes punitive in that you cannot have this item. Everyone knows what's best for their families, so I think it does get a little bit tricky when someone else is trying to make the decisions for someone else's family.
But if this does get signed into Alabama law by Governor Kay Ivey, Schofield adds sweets and soda is something the food bank is able to provide.
People who are food insecure, people who receive SNAP benefits, they might only have one meal a day. If you only have that one meal, sometimes it's important to have a little bit of sugar and fat in the diet just to keep you going throughout the day.
So after passing through the Alabama legislature, the bill now heads to Governor Kay Ivey's desk, awaiting her signature. New details tonight on a tragic two-vehicle crash in Lawrence County that has left 3 people dead and 2 children fighting for their lives. The accident happened Saturday morning in Moulton, sparking an outpouring of grief across North Alabama. The collision took place around 11:30 a.m. at the intersection of Alabama Highways 157 and 24. Investigators say a Ford F-150 struck a car carrying 5 people. The impact was devastating, closing the intersection for several hours. While the crash is still under investigation, we are learning more tonight about the victims and a Hartselle community now coming together to support a local family at the center of this heartbreak. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell spoke with the Hartselle City School Superintendent about the profound impact this is having on students and staff.
A devastating tragedy in Moulton is sending shockwaves through North Alabama as 2 communities mourn a family from Hartselle. 13-year-old Brian Bailu, 7-year-old Brinley Pledger, and 33-year-old Ashley Haygood were killed in Saturday's crash. 2 other children remain in critical condition. The loss is felt deeply in Hartselle, where Superintendent Dr. Holly Sutherland says the entire district is feeling it.
The community is heartbroken. It's a very hard situation for that family because, they are, standing in the gaps and praying and hoping for the best for their students or their children who are, still fighting for their lives, but also, trying to grieve at the same time.
As students return to class tomorrow, they will face empty desks.
Our thoughts and prayers are with our kiddos who will come tomorrow and be without classmates and be without friends, and our teachers and staff who navigate through that with them.
The district is deploying grief counselors for students and staff affected by this tragedy. Hartselle Mayor Missy Evans also issued a statement earlier today saying our entire community grieves alongside these families, and we are lifting them up in prayer during this incredibly difficult time. We are also praying for the child who remains in critical condition. A community prayer service is set for Monday at 3:30 p.m. at Hartselle High School to help families navigate this unimaginable grief. The cause of the crash remains unknown at this time. In Moulton, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
The district and Mayor Evans are asking the public to be mindful of the family's privacy during this time. If you are looking for ways to help, we have information on the verified fundraisers on our website, fox54.com.
I think Iran is in very bad shape. I think they're very desperate.
The deadline has come and gone, and the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is now in effect. The Pentagon says it will be enforced, quote, against vessels of all nations that try to enter or leave Iranian ports. It comes after weekend talks ended with no agreement. Diplomats are now scrambling to get both sides back to the table. But President Trump is signaling he may be running out of patience.
I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine.
But the blockade won't be easy to enforce. First, the U.S. Navy has to demine the strait, a process that could take weeks.
Once detected, you've got to remove or destroy the mine in place. And so that is a lengthy operation. That is a large area to cover. It will take some time.
And most experts say time is a major factor, with Iran seeking to show the world the regime is still in charge.
It is a strategic victory, in a sense, for the Iranians as long as they're in control. And we've got to take that away from them as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, President Trump claims the world is now turning to the U.S. to replace oil from the Middle East. U.S. crude prices were up following the blockade announcement. The White House and its allies say it will add to the military and diplomatic pressure on Iran.
Iran will come back to the table because they have no cards. This is about protecting our national security.
The White House says the main sticking point in negotiations is Iran's nuclear program. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Your Artemis II crew.
I'm here today at Ellington Field, just down the road from NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. And we just heard from the Artemis II astronauts who just came back from the moon just hours ago. They received a warm Texas welcome here at Ellington Field. The 3 Americans, 1 Canadian, each got standing ovations as they kept spreading the love, the joy, the grace that was so prominent during their 10-day flight around the moon and back. They just reunited with their families after the mission. NASA's top dignitaries, Canadian Space Agency officials, flight directors, the launch director, and dozens of blue-suited NASA astronauts, some of whom will be on the next Artemis launch coming up next year. The 4 astronauts, Reed Wiseman and his crew, became the most distant Earthlings ever. They set a new distance record from Earth, surpassing Apollo 13.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07.
The world is buzzing. It's just a great time and a great joy, and it's just really added a moment of happiness, shall we say, of peace and well wishes for our planet Earth.
We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
The message of the gospel is very clear. Blessed are the peacemakers. I will not shy away from announcing the message of the gospel, of inviting all people to look for ways of building bridges for peace and reconciliation, of looking for ways to avoid war anytime that's possible. To put my message on the same plane as what the president has attempted to do here, I think is not understanding what the message of the gospel is. And I'm sorry to hear that, but I will continue on what I believe is the mission of the church in the world.
I do not look at my role as being politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
I think there was a lot of anxiety going into it. I think we've all learned a lot of lessons on what we can do to prepare for each storm.
A powerful multi-day storm continued to lash Hawaii with heavy rain into the weekend, triggering flood alerts in a state still recovering from destructive floods in March. This recent storm dumping more than a month's worth of rain on parts of Hawaii.
Every little drop is a little scary on what's going to happen next.
In Colorado, a very different weather-related issue, not enough water.
Record low snowpacks combined with record-breaking warmth.
We're at 41% of our historical average snow water equivalents.
Drought conditions in the state prompting water conservation efforts. Officials and experts warning things could get worse as we head into the warmer months.
Pattern right now is drought. So we are gearing up for a summer of drought.
Georgia also facing worsening drought conditions.
And that's almost like a brick. I mean, that's just hard Georgia red clay, and it is super dry.
According to the latest U.S. drought monitor, 98% of the state is experiencing some level of drought, causing concern among farmers during planting season.
It's almost like running a big piece of sandpaper over it. It's so dry.
And while spring may have started weeks ago, parts of California are still experiencing wintry conditions, including a winter storm warning over the weekend and heavy snowfall in the Sierras.
And this year was really weird. It's like snow melts, snow melts.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
If you saw this real estate listing online and it turned out to be this in real life, you can thank or curse artificial intelligence. With AI, you can change the color of this house. You can make this weedy grass appear lush and green. You can even make that trampoline disappear.
The grass looks too neat.
It's too green, too neat.
First-time buyers Brandy and William Hoy learned how to spot AI in home listings from their real estate agent, Cassandra Welch.
It's a good tool. However, it comes with responsibility for ethics and transparency.
Welch says agents should mark when a photo has been virtually staged.
Virtual staging ethically should be adding furniture, removing furniture as examples. You can't move a wall. You can't change the structure.
A new California law says if a home listing photo has been altered with AI, the original has to be linked or posted next to it. Dozens of other states have looked at similar legislation to stop buyers and renters from getting fooled.
That's why these laws are starting to come into play, because it is getting to a point where it's becoming too much, and we need to make sure that we're holding people accountable.
Here's what to look for. If you see a home photo with a low price but high-end finishes and furniture, or one with zero imperfections, or no metadata when you right-click,
then chances are this is virtually staged or AI generated.
The best way to know what you're getting? Research and an in-person tour. Without it.
Do you remember that movie, The Money Pit?
I do.
That's definitely what would happen. We saw a lot of money pits.
Keeping the real in real estate. The latest twist in listings for buyers to beware. Caroline Shively, Fox News.
StubHub reaching a settlement with the Federal Trade Commission over allegations it engaged in deceptive pricing. The ticket giant will refund $10 million to customers for failing to display mandatory fees for live event tickets. FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection Director, Christopher Mufarage, wrote in a statement, quote, "Price transparency is essential to a free and competitive marketplace. Today's settlement underscores the Commission's commitment to ensuring that consumers pay the price they are promised." The Wall Street Journal says Amazon Autos, an experiment that started with Hyundai Motors, now includes Kia, Mazda, Subaru, Chevrolet, and Jeep. It's now active in more than 130 cities. The service lets you browse and purchase a car from participating dealerships. Dealers pay a fee to list with Amazon, but there's no extra cost to a buyer. And McDonald's is adding new drinks that will cost less than Starbucks. A Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer drink will arrive in August. Dirty Dr. Pepper and a Mango Pineapple Refresher roll out next month. Energy drinks and crafted sodas are gaining in popularity as Americans look beyond coffee and tea. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Para muchos que han enfrentado dificultades con la obesidad, las medicinas GLP-1 han surgido como un tratamiento muy efectivo para disminuir los números en la báscula.
Estamos pasando de las medicinas de la primera generación a unas mucho más avanzadas que son más efectivas para la pérdida de peso.
El doctor Steve Nissen de la clínica Cleveland es uno de los autores principales del estudio que compara los dos tipos de medicinas GLP-1, dulaglutida y tirzepatida, y sus efectos en 6 de las principales complicaciones de salud, incluidos los ataques al corazón, ataques cerebrovasculares, procedimientos coronarios, fallas del corazón, fallas del riñón y todas las causas de muerte.
La tirzepatida es sustancialmente mejor que la primera generación de medicinas.
Nissen enfatiza que la tirzepatida, una medicina de nueva generación, apunta a 2 hormonas en el intestino en lugar de solo una, que mandan la señal al cerebro para que reduzca el apetito, ralentice la digestión y ayude a que no se den los picos de glucosa después de las comidas. Indica que los análisis señalan que esto se vincula a un menor riesgo de daños en el corazón y el riñón.
Se registró un 16% de disminución en el riesgo de 6 factores de muerte conjuntamente, pero de manera muy impresionante también se registró un 16% de reducción en muertes por cualquier causa.
Con la tirzepatida, Nissen agrega que los efectos secundarios gastrointestinales eran más comunes, mientras que otros efectos adversos eran similares entre los 2 medicamentos. Para el Minuto de Salud soy Tatiana Arias.
Lionsgate has released this look at Hunger Games characters from the original movies and who plays them a quarter century earlier in The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. The latest film in the franchise hits theaters November 20th.
You know, confident, bordering on arrogant, but it's so attractive because, you know, it's backed up by skill.
It's not arrogance if you can back it up. Rosamund Pike has won an Olivier Award, London Theatre's version of the Tony Awards, for her star turn in the drama Inter Alia. The Best Actress honor is Pike's first Olivier Award.
Producer, pop star, manager, Peter Asher.
Even if you don't know his name, you know his legacy. Peter Asher, Everywhere Man, looks at how the performer who rose to fame as half of Peter and Gordon began working behind the scenes with Paul McCartney and became a manager and/or producer for James Taylor, Linda Ronstadt, and other legends. The documentary debuts in theaters June 19th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Let's take it from the top.
Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
Where's the man?
All for one.
98 degrees.
Forever in your mind. O-Town.
Take 5.
The boy band phenomenon of the 90s is explored in the documentary series Boy Band Confidential.
This is the first time I'm talking about it this openly.
NSYNC's Joey Fatone interviewed his peers for the series.
To talk to these guys, usually when you have people that are on the other side doing these interviews, you know, sometimes they always want to dig a little deeper. For me, I just said, hey, listen, we're going to sit down. Tell me your story. Tell me from when you started as a kid, and let's go all the way through. Just tell me where you're at.
How did it feel? What happened? What stories have people not heard?
We're not going to sugarcoat anything. This is what happened. This is the real deal of the stories. There's many other stories and many other groups like this, but with these specific people, I kind of knew them and I wanted to kind of really get into that.
If you look at all the bands, 5 guys are in NSYNC, 5 guys are in New Kids on the Block, 5 guys are in New Edition. It's all a process that went on. It just so happened in the late 1990s, early 2000s, from the birth of Backstreet and the birth of NSYNC, people were starving for it.
I was going to be a millionaire, but the people that we thought had our backs, this is a scam.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
So, a beaver walks into a grocery store, right? Oh, it's not a joke. It's a thing that happened in the Canadian town of Hannah. As in Nickelback's hometown of Hannah, you ask? The very same. Just look at this photograph. Anywho, video posted by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police shows the surprised shopper pop through the entrance of the business and then, seemingly realizing its mistake, it attempts to exit, but to no avail. RCMP officials say they were contacted about the trespasser, responded, and used non-forceful means to coax the beaver back outside, where it was released. They posted photos in case the beaver was spotted elsewhere, saying he's not considered armed and dangerous, but his tail was pretty big. Watch firefighters rescue a stuck puppy seen peeking out of a chimney top in Michigan. After neighbors spotted the tiny pup atop the chimney of the crumbling home, Detroit Fire Department officials responded and set up a ladder rescue, climbing to the roof and pulling the pup to safety. They brought it back to level ground and reportedly nicknamed it Stack before handing it over to Michigan Humane, who says Stack is now working on gaining some much-needed weight and will soon be made available for adoption. Finally, watch a group of Utah runners put the fast in fast food in an attempt to break the most fast food eateries visited in a 24-hour period. KSTU reports the group gathered and got moving in Salt Lake County, making quick stops for small bites, sampling, then scurrying to the next place. Organizers made a map so supporters could keep track of the pack in real time, and the group says they totaled 176 eateries when it was all over. The current Guinness World Record is 150 fast food restaurants, so time will tell if this group's fleet of foot fast food feet will be the new record to beat. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look, to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.
County 911, what's the address of your emergency room? Okay, your wife is in a bar, you said she's unresponsive?
This is what he's going to tell you.
You know how to get out of that situation.
And I grabbed the gun.
Trying to find the first place to put a body. No, sir.
The only thing they could do was kill him.
You want to say anything?
We, the jury, find the defendant